Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So, back here, and last time I actually felt like I finished quite a lot of stuff, and I am wondering if I can actually finish the entire Chibidoki today. Might be a little bit ambitious because I haven't finished the hair, but I'm gonna do my best. So, here we go. As always, I think I just want to start with a couple of corrections. And about the only thing that I really want to fix is that I think that this burger is too small. So I just want to make it bigger. But that was the only thing that I just really did not like. So let's make it bigger. And I'll have to adjust a lot of the shadows and stuff. I don't really want it to be covering her horns that much. So that'll kind of limit the size I can make it somewhat. But I don't mind it peeking out from behind the bird a little, so that might actually look pretty alright. Maybe like right about there. And then I'll have to hide all of these shadows for now. So let's go ahead and, you know, smooth out all the lines again. They're actually not looking that bad. So I'm happy. I don't think I had that much smoothing to do. But there is a little bit, because making things bigger, even besides making it blurry, it does have a tendency to magnify the mistakes. So, I just want to smooth it out. Make it a little bit nicer around those edges. And this also means that the horns will need a little bit more shadow, but I can do that. And the hair will need some changes in the shadow too. Okay, let me think about how it'll go through this bird here. Maybe I should actually just straight up hide the bird for just a moment. So that this way I can figure out exactly how this bun should be. And I don't have to make it smooth for now. I will do that with the bird on, but I will just, you know, get the general gist of where this bun needs to live and how its general shape would be underneath the bird, so that this way, once I turn the bird back on, I can trust what I drew very, very easily. And I know that it'll be just the way I want it. Sometimes it's hard to trust yourself, but it's okay. There are ways to make it just a little bit easier. Okay, so now I kind of want to reconcile these two different angles here. Let the top of the bun kind of connect with the bottom. And then I would like to just get the general gist of the patty and the lettuce and the cheese. They don't have to be perfect. I just kind of want to know where they are. So that'll be like over here. This will be doing something a little straighter. And then this will be wrapping around like this and doing lettuce things. And I think it'll go all the way to the edge. So that's important. So I will plop that there. And now I can turn the bird back on and see how much I have to care about any of this. And by the looks of it, I do see a little bit of the meat, but that is it. So I do not have to care about any of it. It's fantastic. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just straighten up a couple more things. Make it look just a little bit nicer. After making it so much bigger. And then I can go back, correct the shading. And ta-da! I will have a larger burger. Not too bad at all. It's one of those things where fixing that proportion sounds a lot scarier than actually fixing it. But I did feel like it was just a little bit too small. And I don't like the way my sesame seeds look. I am going to revisit what sesame seeds look like. I just want to do a quick. Okay. Yeah, they're just little dots. I don't really got to worry about it. But I will go ahead and do that thing where I add in a bunch of random dots for me to trace. So that this way I get a little bit more of a random spread. That was honestly my biggest complaint there. There we go. And then maybe not that low, but that's fine. I just won't put them there. Okay. So there we go. Now I should have a little bit more of a random spread, and it should have a little bit more size variance and all that good stuff. And hopefully that'll just make everything a little bit nicer and me a little bit happier. My perfectionism will stop tapping on my shoulder and being like, hey, you know, if you just spent 5 more minutes on that, it'd be so much better. Because it likes to do that. It's very rude. Okay. So I will just plop some dots on this, go all the way across all the places that I think could use just a little bit of seeds, and it'll take a second, but I don't really need to clean these. They are fine just being little dots like this. So that is exactly why I wanted to look up what they actually look like real quick. I wanted to see, okay, if I just make them dots and tell my brain to stop complaining, will it look good? And I think the answer is yes. And references do help my brain stop complaining. It likes to complain. Brains are like that sometimes. And then I am using the fact that this brush also varies the size of the things to my advantage too. So I can put some bigger ones on places that got some bigger dots and some smaller ones on the ones that got smaller dots and all that good stuff. All of that good stuff. Okay, and I think I'm almost through just because I don't really want to do too many further down here. So I'll go ahead and delete my stencil, and I think that looks fine. So let's go in and do the dark spots. I'm pretty sure I already have my color in the swatch here. So all I have to do is just, you know, paint over the new areas. So this one will be easy. But the ones a little bit later might be a little bit tougher because I did a second layer of shadow where I put in a little bit more texture and dealt with things like the crow's feet digging into the burger and stuff like that. And I get the feeling a lot of that is going to change. So that'll probably be the place that needs the most amount of correction. And I think that the light that I put on the lettuce will also be changing. So I gotta prepare for that a little too, mentally mostly. I'm pretty sure actually drawing it will be pretty easy. But as always, I'm just gonna take my time and make sure I like what I got. Add a little bit of texture here and there. Light on hamburger buns is pretty smooth in my experience, so I won't be adding a lot there, but for some of these other things, it can be useful. Okay, I think that's good. So, and now for the part that's going to take a little bit more work. I'm actually just going to clear what I had. I'll go ahead and add some of those darker spots that I had. So pretty much anything that's dealing with a cast shadow from the bird. That needs to be repainted. And then all the parts where the crow's little talons are digging into the poor flesh of this burger, that will also need to be redrawn. And then I just want to add a few little cast shadows from some of these other things, like the lettuce onto the cheese and that sort of thing. Just add a little bit more contrast, make it look nice. Maybe a little bit right here. Any place that I just feel like is feeling a little bit flat. I want to make sure that the burger here looks tasty. So I do actually think that that is pretty important. Okay, and I think that is pretty good. So now it is time for the light part, and I actually can't remember what color I made this. Did I use just my usual light? I did, okay. And I'm going to clear that again, just because I feel like too much of it has changed. Get the little bit of rim light I want here, and a little bit on the patty itself here. Again, trying to get a little bit more meaty texture in there than I had before. And then I just want a couple of highlights on the lettuce to make it look nice and crisp. I think that's the best word to use here. Nice and crisp. I was gonna say juicy, but, you know, juice isn't really what you'd expect to come out of lettuce. It's water. So, juicy felt perhaps a little bit inappropriate. Crisp, yes. That sounds much better. I don't like that highlight. It's too extra. So, let's just keep it simple. Okay, there we go. And I think that looks a lot better. So let me go ahead. I just realized I forgot to do the talons here. That's kind of important. Let those little feet dig into the flesh of the burger here. There we go. And there we go. I think that looks much better. So, that looks like something I'd be much more sad about losing than what I had before. The other one was just kind of small. This one does look like it's 90% bun, though, so... I'll just say we're seeing it from the top. We'll see if I want to fix it. I might. Actually, it wouldn't be that hard to fix. Okay. I'm feeling good today. I don't want to leave things that I am unsatisfied with. So, you know what? Oh, no. I don't want the line to go there. I want it to go through here. I don't want it to catch the seeds. Around here. And then just part way through the meat here. Then all I do is lift it up. I will have to do a little bit of adjusting for the feathers there, but that's okay. And then all I have to do Just paint in here, and suddenly it looks much meatier. Yes. I'll go ahead and hide the light for just a second too. Just while I paint the rest of this. And I will let this stick out of the bun a little bit as well. Why not? I will actually send the bun a little bit further back, but not much. Okay. Yeah, I think I can be a little happier with that. I shouldn't leave spots that I am just unhappy with, and I actually do think that having the burger look delicious is important to the story of the picture. And I do like putting some stories into my illustrations when I can. I want to make this thing look like something that someone would be sad to lose. No, I don't like that. There we go. I think it's better over here. I'm even going to take this part back a little bit. Okay. I already established that the light was this color, so I will have to fix everything through here, but I did manage to keep pretty much everything else intact, so I did keep things pretty easy for myself. Always nice when it works out like that. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of light contrast here on either side. Just to, once again, make this look a little bit bigger. And a little bit juicier. And to make it clear where the meat part starts and where it ends. Okay, yeah, that I can be happy with. I like that. Okay, so now that I have finished corrections, let's go ahead and actually draw her tiny little arms. So man, just jumping right in with the arms today. Our arms have pretty much always been my art nemesis. They're the part of the body I find the hardest to draw for some reason. Couldn't tell you why. But there's just something about their tubular nature that just always gets to me. So this is another one where I decided to meld the gloves directly into her flesh. So I will just draw her hands as gloves, and then I'll make them, you know, fluffy. I'll add that after. And I do kind of feel like in order to draw those little arms properly, I gotta know what is going on with her body here. Trying to think of the length of the arms here. I think... Are they a good length? I gotta think about it for a second. Kind of also feel like her body is a little bit off center. So I'm gonna just kind of push it to the left a little. Okay, that's pretty good. So I think I do want to make this arm just a little bit longer and this arm just a little bit shorter. I'll double check those proportions once I have a better idea of what's going on here with the rest of her body. But I think that feels right for now, so I'll go ahead and lift this arm up a little. I think that's highlight, right? Yeah. And I'll go ahead and shorten this arm just a little. I don't think this one needs a lot of shortening. But there we go, that should let them be about the same size, and I still think it looks pretty okay. I also think that this arm needs to be a little bit higher up. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. And they're not at quite the same angle, so I think it has a little bit more flail to it. I might even put a little bit of motion blur around the hands. Make them look like they're wiggling a little. That kind of thing. But for now, I do think that I would like to... Ooh, I really can't do that. Because she does not have a neck. I was gonna say, I'd like to kind of figure out where her body is. So I was thinking about taking away the ribbons for a second, but I think I'll actually have an easier time with the ribbon there. Because I am kind of faking the structure here. Normally that'd be kind of a bad thing, but I think it's okay. Mostly. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking about how this will sit on her body. And this is why I got the version 3 model as a reference. So that this way, any place that was unclear on this model, I could just copy here. And from what I see, it just got this little frilly kind of tank top sleeve. So I'm going to roll with that. And I am just going to pretend like her shirt here is the body. And I will erase anything that contradicts this. I'm gonna adjust that tail. I think it should be easy to do with mesh. I just want it a little further this way and a little bit shorter. So I will be very, very careful, very, very gentle with this adjustment. But I do think that that is a little bit better. Let me double check. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. And that'll make this part of her shirt make a little bit more sense. The little heart on her tummy. Okay. I, for one, am terrible at getting hearts symmetrical, but I'm actually going to try here. I would like to try, and I think with the angle that we're standing at, the very bottom of this little heart will indeed be slightly cut off, but I still think I have it a little bit too low. I'm going to lift it up just a little. Erase accordingly, and I kind of want it to come inward just a little bit here. Like I said, just gonna take my time there. And then part of the dress is sticking out through there a little bit. I just gotta clean that up, and I think all will be well. Okay. I think I want it to be just a little bit shorter. A little bit more squished. I'm just filling everything with the shadow color at the moment. That's fine. Shadow color is useful here. It doesn't really matter what color I pick. I'm just going to lock the layer and shade it properly a little bit later. Right now, I am just focused on the overall shape. And then afterwards, I will perfect it. So it seems like I have arbitrarily decided to switch back to the other color. And that's fine. It's all good. Just zoom in a little and make sure I get this smooth. Like, I'm actually pretty happy with the top part of the dress here. I think this is accurate, so this is fine. Oh, would you look at that? It's dark again. That is also fine. think the shadows I put on the body are kind of throwing me off a little, so I'm actually going to hide that layer. Just completely. And I think that'll help me get a wonderful heart shape. Sometimes these things do throw me off. And that's why I do things like hide layers, invert the colors, just all these things. Anything that'll help me see. And there I just noticed a few spots that didn't get filled in, and right here didn't get filled in. I think I would actually like to fix that right now. Because I think it'll bother me otherwise. It's just one of those things. Okay. Back to this cute little heart. And you know, I think that is not bad at all. I don't even mind it being a little bit stretched on this side since her arms are doing stretchy things. So I think that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead, lock it, turn the body back on. Okay, I'm going to clean up some of this stuff that's clipping around here. I think that's actually part of the head. And I don't really want that there, so I'm going to clean that up while I'm here. I am not used to the head being so low down. Feels weird. But it's appropriate for this low angle composition. Just the super worm's eye view that I got going on here. Okay. So once again, I'm going to just kind of look at the sleeves here. So if I were to draw it without the ribbon, I think that her shoulder would be like right about here. So that tells me that the angle of this shirt area thing should be something kind of like this, I think. That does look pretty good to me. So her other shoulder, I think, is going to be like right about here. So I will push this down. And I wanted to match the direction of the arm a little bit better than it currently is. So I actually think that this will be a little bit more like, you know, like this. There. Ah, yes. I always forget about the foreground there, and that there are little blurry hazes of colors slightly changing the color I might pick. So I gotta make sure I pick from a good spot. Okay, so now that I have that part down, I am going to kind of shape these arms. Make sure that they are connecting with the rest of her body well. And making sure that they are chubby and adorable. Very important for these, like, super ultra, super deformed characters. Gotta make them cute. It's just travesty if you don't. Just utter blasphemy. So very important that I just try to get this as adorable as I can. I'm happy though. I think this one is looking pretty cute. And I'm happy because the last few times I've attempted to draw a chibi, I have not thought that they have been cute enough. So apparently something has clicked in my brain and I can draw cute a little bit better than I could last year. So that's nice. Hello there, Lightfix. Welcome back. Okay, so how should I handle chubby little arms? I think I could just make them little tubes, right? No. On here, she has like actual shoulders and stuff and an actual elbow. Okay, I'll give her an elbow. I'll see if that makes it a little bit cuter. So an elbow would be kind of like this. Make her arm a little bit chubbier there. Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty cute. Several years at this point. I can't remember exactly when I switched over, but it has been a while, and I do prefer it for drawing to, like, Photoshop or something. I do think it does a better job with drawing specifically, but that makes sense, because Photoshop isn't really meant for drawing, it's meant for photo manipulation. Whereas Krita is meant for drawing. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and smooth this out nicely. I actually kind of want to zoom in a little bit more to help me work out those extra blobs that I was having trouble getting at 100%. Okay, yeah. I think adding a little bit of chubbiness around the elbow is pretty cute. I like it. And then I think before I go and do the hand, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other arm real quick. And some stuff about the hair is throwing me off, so I'm just gonna hide the layer entirely. I'll give her her head back later. Beginner, probably not long at all, because program doesn't really matter when you're a beginner. So just a matter of go draw some pictures. It'll be great. As for me, I remember it took me a little while to get used to the brush here, because it had a lot more variance in the width here compared to what I was used to. But now that I've gotten used to it, it is so much better. I love how thin I can get the lines, and then how thick I can make them with just the same brush stroke. So that was the big change for me. Everything else is like the same as any other program, so... Okay, and I think that arm is looking pretty good. So let's get this one now. Where do I want your little tiny elbows to be? Let's see. So there'll be one like right here, I think. Where I just kind of have it come out of the wrist and then a bop. What about concept? I'm not sure what you mean. The orange? I don't know what you're referring to. So, unfortunately, no, I don't know the orange one. I have never used it. I have used Krita and Photoshop. And that's it for, like, my raster stuff. And then for the few attempts that I've done at vector art, I used Inkscape. But that is all of the art programs that I have tried. I really don't think program makes that big a difference. Most of them have roughly the same features. And all you really need is the ability to have a degree of pressure sensitivity. I think layers and blend modes on those layers are important. And then... I'm thinking, yeah, any basic brush, really. Well, I mean, you can keep using that one. It's not like you have to switch programs if you already found one that you like. I really don't think program makes that big a difference at all. 90% of them have, like, roughly the same features. So it's like, who cares? Well, I'm always surprised that there's so many people out there that'll shill for expensive software or Clip Studio Paint and stuff, because I'm like, you know, you could probably create the Clip Studio brushes in literally any program that accepts custom brushes. So it's like, you know, just use whatever one makes you happy, and then roll with it. Alright, let's make these elbows a little softer and more round and pudgy. I always like to start with the sharp angles because I find them easier to draw, but I do think for a raw cuteness, making things round and soft is very helpful. So let's take those arms in a little and just make them squishy. Make it look like they'll wiggle if you poke them. Okay, so how's that? I do think this arm looks a little bit better than this arm, but you know what? I think it's fine. So I'll go ahead and just do that, and yeah, I'll just go ahead and handle the hands now. So we got tiny little baby hands going on here, so let's make them adorable. See if I can get just the cutest little baby fingers here. Yeah, just absolutely tiny and cute. Nice and squishy looking. I worry that I might have made them a little bit too slender there, so I'll see how this looks after I'm kind of satisfied with the initial silhouette, and maybe I'll make them just a little bit squishier. We'll see how it all shakes out. I think I initially planned for her hand to be going the other way, but this is what I drew, and I think it's fine, so I'll let it go this way. I'll add some cute little shadows onto that momentarily, but let's go ahead and lift this finger up just a little. Just because I do think that the middle finger is typically a little bit longer. Yeah, I think that's pretty decently cute. And you know, it'll probably look great once I give her her head back. But it's okay, she doesn't. Soon. Okay, and this, I want to change the angle of the hand quite a lot here. I want the fingers to be going backward, like this. I think that that will be super cute. Yeah, I think something like that will be quite cute. once I kind of get the shape and proportion of all the fingers right. They're a little long right now, so let's fix that right away. And then I'll let the little pinky just kind of stick out over here. So we'll just have some tiny little baby fingers here. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this thumb. I'm gonna revisit it in just a sec here. I just want to get a couple of these little fingers going. And I think that'll make it easier to handle the rest as well. Okay, so I think for initial silhouettes, this is okay. This thumb might be a little bit long, but... Oh yeah, that's super cute. Okay, a little tiny nub there. So now I'm gonna plop in some shadows, and I will try to work out where the rest of the fingers and whatnot are. They might still be a little bit long. I will see. It is true. I think I do have a slight tendency to draw the fingers just a little bit long. So yeah, they look a bit long on both hands to me still. So let's adjust accordingly. We'll make them nice and squishy. Just super tiny. Little tiny baby hands. And then I can worry about making them look a little bit less sausagey. But I gotta start with the overall proportions. Otherwise, I will probably get just a little bit lost. Okay, I think this has potential. Yeah, they're just like super squishy. I feel like I could just, poke in the middle of the palm and they just go wiggle. Now that I look at it, I actually kind of like this thumb better than this thumb. Yeah, I think I do actually. Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish this hand first. I like it a little bit more. And I can use it as a stencil for the other one to kind of help me figure out enjoyable proportions and enjoyable shapes. This very much out of my usual wheelhouse, so I would like to do one at a time and then use it to help me figure out the other one. Let's see, I think I actually want this to be a little tiny bit skinnier. I also want to look at her little gremlin model. How do your little fingers look? Yeah, they're like big triangles. So I want them kind of skinny at the top, and then just have them turn oddly fat. So kind of like this. And then I guess I can let that little pinky stick out a little bit more. I think I'm actually just going to redraw it. I'll draw those 3 fingers where they're all kind of sticking together like this. And then I can just draw a little tiny pinky just hanging out over here. Doing pinky things. Being fancy and sticking out her pinky while flailing. Sounds legit to me. Okay, just kind of gotta perfect that little shape there. And I want to tone down this shadow from the thumb a little. And now, yeah, just go and perfect the general shape of all these. And once I'm happy, I can move on. But I gotta make sure I'm happy first. How does it feel? I don't know if I like the angle of that still. I don't know, I don't draw chibis. Yeah, and I also think the top of the figure needs to be a little bit more centralized here. I'm just worried that the hands are going to become a little bit stiff if I keep working them too hard. So I'm trying to be a little bit careful here. But it's okay. Hands are one of those things that are worth taking your time on. Something like that. Yeah, I actually think that works. I think that's pretty cute. It should look pretty good once I put all the details on. So before I go and do that, I want to get a similar feeling onto this hand here. Where hopefully I can just make this tiny little thumb just look at. I'm gonna start by giving her tiny little wrists. Really define where that is. I think it'll make her body look a little squishier. And besides, I do have to know where to, you know, put the frilly part of her glove, for example. Okay. So I got a little pinky here. I think I want to make it a little thicker at the bottom. So I'm going to change the angle of this shadow that's overlapping the middle finger. Oh yeah, that's adorable. I love this. This is perfect. Okay, nailed that one. So let's see if I can do it again with this next finger. All right, just make it a little bit thicker at the bottom here and a little bit thinner at the top. And once I find the right combination of both, hopefully I'll have something super cute. That's always the hope. Oh yeah, that's cute. I like this a lot. Okay. 2 more fingers. Okay. Okay. I like this. This is working. Let's see here. I think the only thing that isn't quite right, I'm gonna push the fingers downward just a little bit. I just want the index finger to be a little bit closer to the thumb, mostly. Okay, I'm gonna make the middle finger a little bit beefier, so let it overlap. There. Okay. Adorable. I like her derpy little hands. It works for me. Okay. So before I go in and add the rest of the glove details, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up what I drew here. Make them look nice. So I now have the layer locked. So I'm gonna put a shadow on like this half of the thumb here. This half of the finger. I don't think I need a lot of detail on the hands here. I think they're mostly fine as is. So this will just kind of define the shapes a little bit, help make her hand look squishier, and, you know, do cute things. That's what's important. You gotta do cute things. Okay. Yeah, and I think that's about all I need there. Just chubby little fingers, doing a chubby little dance, and maybe I will add some motion blur a little bit later, but I think I'd like to have more of her done before I start adding effects like that. Alright, so I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other hand here. Just put a little bit of shadow on those little fingers. And just on her arm in general here. And then... yeah, I don't really feel like I need some folds on the gloves or anything. It's like I could, but I don't know. I think it's just kind of unnecessary. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the little frilly part. What do they look like again? Yeah, they're like little flower petals. So, time to add some cute little flower petals. Actually, the shadow color is a little bit easier to see, so I'll draw with that instead. There. So that should be fine there. So let's go to the other side. I think 3 petals is plenty. Should look fine once I have it all shaded properly and I add the little pink ribbon. The pink ribbon I do think I will do on its own layer though. Just to make my life a little bit easier. And then it's going to need a back side where it wraps around the hand. It's going to do something like that. But that will also get its own layer. And I think I will also use a darker color for it. We'll see. I haven't completely decided. Okay. So I think before I do anything else, I am happy with the shape of these little petals. I think they look very cute. So I'm going to go ahead and add the shadow on the arm here. I'm just going to do that right away. Since I'm drawing these on the same layer instead of making the gloves on their own. I do that sometimes. I think I've mentioned before, I don't like managing a ton of layers. So if I can make my life just a little bit easier like this, I will. So I'll go ahead and just handle all arm shading for now. Just because, you know, there's not a lot of shade here. It just got a little tube here and a little cast shadow from the ribbon, and, you know, there we go, all done. No problem. So I'll just go ahead and finish all of that off for now. And then I think I'm going to put on the little ribbon on the glove. This hand might actually be a little bit small, now that I look at it. Yeah, it should be closer to the size of her arm here. So I will fix that before I do any further smoothing. How about this one? Are you a good size? No, you're a little bit small too. Okay, and I think that is fine. So let's just get rid of the excess here and properly connect her wrist again. It's all good. It won't be that hard at all. And now her hands are just that much cuter. I think she's gonna look great when she has a head again. I'm a little bit sad that I had to do the hands before the face here, but it's all good. I'm still hopeful that I can just finish the entire character today. Okay, and I don't quite like how the edge of her glove is overlapping the edge of her arm here, so I am actually going to fix that as well. We're just gonna thicken that pedal just a little. Okay. That's much better. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna flip the canvas a little just to make sure. Because I was thinking for a moment, does this hand look a little bit smaller than this hand? Do the pedals on here look a little bit smaller than over here? And I do think that the pedals on the glove do look a bit smaller. So I think I would like to fix that. I would like to make these ones just a little bit smaller. Just a little. Okay, but I think that's fine. Okay. And I do think I will make these ones just a little bit bigger as well. Sometimes it's easier to do it from both sides. Make one a little bit smaller and one a little bit bigger. But I do want to make sure that things are proportionate before I finish things off. I probably should have done that before shading the other side, honestly. Got a little ahead of myself. It happens all the time. Okay. Yeah. I know they look like they match a little bit more. I don't mind this hand technically looking a little bit smaller because we're seeing the side of this one, but the front of this one. So that makes sense to me. I don't know, when I look at my hand from the side, it does look a little bit smaller to me. It just, my brain autocorrects and is like, yes, the hand is the same. But I've gotta turn off the autocorrect if I want to draw it accurately. Okay, let's go ahead and smooth this out now and finish all the shading on the arm. There we go. Okay, and I think that does it for the arms. So let's go ahead and add love ribbon. I think this is like the same color as her main ribbon. Looks like it to me, so I'm gonna roll with that because it'll be easier than picking a bunch of new colors. Oh yeah, and I have to fix the ribbon actually, I just noticed. I'm gonna do that before I forget again. It's because the shadow from the tails of the ribbon, they are elsewhere now. And actually, I don't like the way I have this drawn at all. This should be like this. Yeah. I think I just got it a little bit dyslexia in my brain when I was drawing this, because this should definitely be more like this. Okay. This actually means I have to do extensive ribbon surgery. So, let's draw a ribbon. And do it right this time. Yeah, I realized this while drawing Crony's ribbon the other day, that even if you are viewing it slightly from below, I'm pretty sure the tails are still under the main body of the ribbon. And my brain just... Well, it just got it backwards that when I was drawing it on Chibidoki here. So, let's go ahead and correct for that. It'll be okay. You can't be too afraid of corrections if you want to make good art, in my opinion. So I'm just kind of thinking about what planes of the ribbon we see, and I do think that we see a little bit of thickness here. I'm making the ribbon maybe a little thick, but you know, it's fine. I think it makes it cute. And I actually do think that this area should be in shadow. So I am going to adjust that accordingly. This is the bottom plane of the ribbon, and I think it should look better like this. So I am just drawing all the ribbons lately, but it's fine. Ribbons are fun to draw. I'm just trying to find the right thickness for this. I think I have it a little bit too thick. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of this dark shadow that I have for the inside of the ribbon here. And just gently roll it all the way around. There we go. I think that looks more convincing. Okay, and now I just got to do the same thing over on this side. And then I need to add some shadows to the tails. And probably have less highlight, honestly. But I do think that this change will be worth it. I think that it'll make everything just look so much better. There. And frankly, it wasn't even that hard to do. So now I still think that I have this part a little bit too thick. So I'm gonna expand that inner shadow just a little. And then I can go and correct the tails a bit. I'm kind of glad I remembered that because I totally forgot that I wanted to fix that. These things happen, but it's okay. Because, you know, I'll notice sooner or later, and frankly, if I don't, it probably wasn't that important to correct. That's just kind of how I see it. Okay, let's go do the tails here. We just need a few more shadows. And I think I'm actually going to have a few less highlights too. I think I'm just going to have this little one at the bottom here. I don't think I want it to be shaped like this. So I will fix that. I think I want it to be just a little bit more, how to say, rim light. So like that. Oh, yeah, I'll clean it up now. I was debating on whether or not I wanted to do the other side before I cleaned, but nah, I'll clean now. I will go ahead and clean it now. Okay. Man, my nose is getting all stuffed up again. Okay. So I think I want this highlight to be a little thinner than it currently is. And I'm just going to do something similar. Just, you know, let it be rim light. With a little, I don't know, shape like that. A little N or V, depending on your mood. Okay. And I think that is all the corrections that this little ribbon needs. So I think I'm still going to do the hands, and then I'll go ahead and, I don't see a point in finishing off her shirt area right now. I just needed to figure out how it connected to the arms. Because this thing is on top of it. And I could do this thing now, but I don't really think it's necessary. I'd rather do the head. I really want to do her face. So I'm going to go ahead and get her little hands done. So that this way I can render a cute face. Really face. It was hard to go in and do the arms and hands at the start today. I just wanted to draw a cute face the whole time. I have been resisting. I do like to get the things underneath before I do too much work on the things. Or the things on top before I do too much work for the things underneath. I actually think that this ribbon should be more like right here. So I am going to liquefy those gloves. Okay, this is going to change the shape of her arm a bit, so I will have to go back and fix that. But I think I want to push this over here just a little. Okay. And now I can fix the shape of the arm. Push this back through here. and I will just fix the shape of this a little bit until I am happy once more. There. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Kind of want to make this one a little bit thinner. Okay, and now I will lock the layer again and adjust the shadows. Perfect. Okay. And now I know roughly where the gloves will be kind of sinking in, you know, being pulled together and then fanned out. So I know where to put the folds. And I will go ahead and shade the ribbon just real quick, because it'll be easy. See, look how easy that was. Done already. That was all it took. Okay, kind of want to tuck this part of the ribbon in a little as well, so let's make a slightly more noticeable wrist, but yeah, there. Nice. Okay. Now all that's left is to shade the little petal parts. I kind of want just a tiny little shadow up on top of the ribbon here. Couple tiny little folds. Just some tiny ones. I always think that that kind of effect looks nice, so I like to do it. And now, I want to take one more look at her gloves here, just to get a feel for how they are folded. But yeah, it just looks like a single piece of cloth that wraps around. So, with this being the side there, I just want to get rid of all the shadows I got going on down here. So I probably made things a little bit hard for myself here, but by doing this all on one layer, you know, such is life. It's okay. I will survive. I will. All will be well. Okay, and then there's gonna be like little tiny folds here and there, like kind of like this. And I think that that will be perfect. Okay, and I think that's all it needs. Yeah, I think that's pretty cute. I think my little petal parts might be slightly larger than on the model, but I think that they look fine. So I don't really think I need to fix it. I will add one more little fold there, though. I realized I didn't give this guy a little fold. So can't leave him out. That would just be rude. Okay. So now I will do the same on this side. Let me see. Do I have... Yeah. I was debating on how thick the shadow on the petal here should be. And I think right about like this is perfect. So the rest will be in light. And then I will add the shadows from just the folds afterward. Okay, so just, something like that. Don't need to make it too complicated. And then I'll just add a little bit on the top part. Just because I do feel like that the bottom of the glove is being pulled a little bit there. And there we go. I'll go ahead and draw the back of the glove real quick. I'll just go ahead and do that now, while I'm thinking about it. Because all I really need to do is that. So it's super easy. Super duper easy. There. And I do believe that those are some completed hands. So I think I'll just leave it there. Maybe a little clumsy. Maybe I'll touch them up at some point, but I don't know. I think they look okay. I didn't really like the corner of this pinky, but I think they look okay. So I think it's fine. We'll see how I feel once I have rendered her face, and if I want to do any further corrections. So here we go. Let's render her face. So I decided to look up some eyelashes that I really liked because I have been generally unsatisfied with my eyelashes lately. So I've been wanting to work on improving them a little bit. And I think I have picked up a few secrets. So first, I'm going to get rid of everything on them here. I'll go ahead and shade them individually. It's all good. And then one thing I noticed that I kind of liked was that they actually had the top part of the eyelash lighter than the bottom. So it was a little bit more like this. And then the little spikes that came out showed like this. And don't worry, I won't let it blend with the hair quite so much. I'll fix that. But I just gotta get things down first. So, something like that. And I think this side is just like all gonna be in shadow. So I'm not gonna do quite as much with this side. So I will go ahead and just put the little bits of light through here. Okay, and, just kind of something like that. And yeah, I like that. But I realized that I should probably be good and actually do hair first. So let's go ahead and do some hair. It's like I do know where the hair actually all is, so it is safe to do the eyes, but just following my general strategy of order of shading things, I do kind of like to do the hair before I do the rest of the face. So I will once again resist the urge to do eyes. In fact, I'm going to resist so hard, I'm going to remove them entirely. Alright. So I will shade the entirety of this hair, and then, and only then, will I go in and do her eyes and the rest of her face. It'll be my reward for doing hair, which is hard. I do like to reward my brain when it does good things, so we will do the hair, and then I get to have a little bit of fun. Okay. How do I want this to be shaded anyway? So I think down here looks good. I realized that because I moved some stuff a little bit, that I need to fix this part of her hair. So I better do that now before I forget. That sounds like something I would do, so I think I'm actually just gonna fill in all these tiny gaps there. Okay. Looks good to me. So I want to revisit where I'm placing some of these shadows here. I am still finding myself a little bit unsatisfied with the structure of this hair. So I would like to just take another look at where I'm actually putting down some of these shadows. And then I can worry about making it all look a little bit more hair-like. And then I think I do want a few darker spots for certain areas that I think are just going to be like way underneath things. So mostly a little bit further down, like under the arms. You know, the area that I said that I didn't want to do until I had the arms shaded. And this is pretty much why. I just think everything will look a little bit better once I know where the things that will be sitting on top actually live. And where everything will be sitting. And I'm just using this darker color to break things up a little bit more nicely and all that good stuff. So, like, even though I put a bunch of dark on this side, I don't think I'll actually put very much on this side. Just because there's a lot over here already. So I don't want things to get too confused. I will put some under her hands, though. Just kind of like that. Alright, and now I just, you know, gotta figure out the rest of the structure I'm going for. And a lot of other little things that I think will make everything look a little nicer. I'm even plopping down some of these cast shadows. Actually, I think all this is still correct. I do want to change the shape that I have going for the wing there, but I didn't really move the bird at all, so I think most of them are still in good spots here. And then at some point, I'll just add a few little areas to make things look a little bit more hair-like, but honestly, for this kind of style, you know, just general chibiness, I don't think I want to add too much detail. I actually think that adding too much will make her look less cute. So I'm gonna take it easy here. Or at least try to. But I'll add a little bit of hair texture here and there. I do want her to look maybe a little bit disheveled from flailing so much. So I'll add a little bit more than I otherwise would, just for that reason. But I think a lot of that look is actually going to come from like loose strands that I plan to add at the end once I have the basic structure of the hair down here. And I think that'll make it look like she's flailing a little bit harder, so that'll be nice. Okay. How do I feel about this? Yeah, I think that looks good. So I'll just go ahead and clean this up and I'll call it good. Yeah, I think it looks good. I do. I think it looks pretty good. All right. So let's just go and make it look nice now. That's all that's left. And I will add all the other little highlights and stuff later. I just like to start with all this. 'Cause after all, I can only make one brushstroke at a time. Okay. So now that all the decisions have been made, all that's really left is some very easy rendering. Gotta make some nice little triangle shapes. And that'll be it. So I'm at the relaxing part of hair. Relaxing yet time-consuming part. Part that always takes me just a little while to get through. The result always looks good, so I keep doing it. Because as much as anime girls are like mostly hair, it is especially true for chibis. Like legit, I think if we measured her body mass relative to hair, she would be more hair than body. I really do. I am almost certain that's the case. I'll go ahead and do these dark spots through here. So some of this is kind of melding with the pigtails, so I'm gonna go ahead and hide that layer for a second. Just so I know where the areas that I need to care about right now are. The twin tails will come later. So I'll add some little shadows from her tiny little fingers here. There we go. And then I think I will add just a couple of little strands like this. Running out. Maybe even a little bit running in. Just to make things look a little bit more hair-like. I like doing stuff like that. It makes me happy. I do think that is what art should be all about. Just doing things to make you happy. I think it's easy to forget why art is fun. I think it's easy to get caught up in the modern world and feel like you have to do things and then just forget, you know, that art is just supposed to be a good time. Even if you're serious about it. So, you know what? Go out and have some fun today. Go draw something that's just fun. Forget studying. Just go have a good time. Forget studying, forget work. Who cares? Go draw a nice picture because it makes you happy. Alright, let's go smooth this part out now. And I think that's it for this side, really. The other side is going to be even simpler because most of it is covered up by a bird. So, I will have a very easy time there. And I might add a little bit more when it comes time to do light. Just so that this way I can have a little bit of rim lighting being cast from the moon. I think that might look nice. But I better get everything that I drew here looking just right before I even think about doing something like that. Oh no, that's not true. I can think about it all I want. But I better finish what I started here before I do anything else. That's probably a better way to say it. I can't help what my brain thinks about. Yeah, and I can tell you that it thinks about many a thing when I'm just going through and doing all the rendering stuff. There's not that much to think about anymore, so it just kind of thinks about things, you know? There's not a lot I can do about it. My nose is getting all stuffed up again, so let me see. Give me just a second to get this out of here so I don't have such a nasally voice anymore. I will be right back. Right. Much better. Oh man. It's always kind of terrible. It's like I was getting that stuff that can't decide if it wants to go into my throat or in my nose. So I just, after a while, kind of start choking on it, and it is the worst. And the fact that it's all plugging up my nasal passages just turns my voice into the super nasally, and I hate it. But there we go. It has been dealt with, and I can just get right back into making all the hair look nice. So all is well. I am still hopeful that, you know, that all that will just go away at some point, and I won't have to get up in the middle of the stream to blow my nose. That would be fantastic. Okay, and from here... this is for the thumb, so I do kind of want to keep that. But it does look like the rest I have to straighten out is all just dark. Or, no, I've got a little bit of light I want right here. Okay. But now I think it's all just dark. So I'll go ahead and just make all these little adjustments here. All the little shadows, and this part needs to be light, but I just wanted to get the dark part that was there first. And now I can fix up the rest. There. No problem at all. Okay, and I'll go ahead and add just a little tiny shadow there, but there's enough dark stuff on the twin tail nearby that I don't think I want to do more. Okay, there we go. I think that is her front hair. Sans highlights, so let's go get the highlights now. And then I might add just a little bit more. I might add a few more highlights just so that I can have a little bit of highlights from the moon, a little bit of rim light. And I'm adding just a few here because I like to. But this part is a little bit more shadowed than I would normally have it, so I don't want to add too many. But I will add a few. I do like having a lot of contrasting stuff next to the face and the eyes. I think it draws more attention to them and looks very nice. So I'm not going to go too hard on rim light and stuff here. I don't actually have the highlights in a group with the hair. You know what? I think I want to. This does mean that I will need another group for... I will need another group for the twin tails and a new layer for those highlights, but, you know, that's fine. I do feel like most of the layers that I use should go towards focal points, and in this case, that is the face. So it makes sense that her head would have considerably more layers than elsewhere. I'm just gonna add a couple more extra highlights because I want to. I'll see how I feel about them at the end. I might not like them, but I'll go ahead and just add them for now. I could always change my mind later. I don't think anything should ever be set in stone in art. Just, you know, follow what works. Follow what looks good. And if it looks bad, you can murder it to your heart's content. It's all good. Redraw it as many times as you need. I kind of want a nice thick highlight here, so I'm deciding how it's going to go down the strand. I honestly wasn't quite sure. But I think this kind of thing should work. I think it looks pretty alright. I don't think I wanted to go completely to the end, but pretty dang close. pretty dang close. Okay, and then, you know, I want to do some similar stuff on this side, so I'll still add a little highlight here. I think that'll really bring out that little curl. So I want to do that. I want to bring out that little curl as much as I can. Because I do think that is a pretty cute little curl, and I want people to see it. Here on this side, I still want to do a little bit of, you know, this, but I feel like so much more of it is in shadow that it's just going to be a lot smaller than the other one. But that's okay. Everyone's a little different. I gotta let this highlight in this strand embrace what it is. Okay. And I think that's all I want to do with these highlights. So I'm gonna go ahead and make them shiny. So to do that, I just blur it just a little. I make a copy, then blur the one underneath. And that makes it just a little bit shinier. And then I always like to add just a little bit of light underneath. Just a little. Just a little. And I often tone it back considerably. Just because I don't want it to be in the shadows. I don't want the shadow shapes to really get hit by it. But I do think that when I add just a little tiny gradient like this, it does just make the hair look a little bit shinier. So I like to do it. It is worth a little bit of extra effort to do. Also, I gotta say, I like this expression without her eyes. She looks so much more distressed and confused. Alright. So I'm gonna go pull it out of the shadow areas now. And I think that'll about do it. I'll pull it around with the smudge tool a little bit. Just so it looks slightly more hair-like. But besides that, you know, I think that this front hair is about done. I will go finish her twin tails before I go and do the face. I am resisting. I like to do the hair before I do the face because the hair is on top. Oh yeah, and I also want to add lots of loose strands, but I want to get the twin tails first. Okay, so I'm just gonna go grab my friend the smudge tool here. And I'm gonna pull this shiny part around just a little bit. I feel like it blends it in a little bit better than just leaving it all out and it's lonesome. It's a subtle difference, but it's one I see. And if I like it better, then I think it's worth doing. So I personally do think that my opinion of my own art matters a lot. It's why I'm still struggling with speed painting, because I often, and you know, like Inktober daily draw style challenges, because if I don't like what I'm doing, then it just feels bad. And actually I changed my mind. I want to do a couple of small strands coming out of these shadows here. And a couple of small strands going into those shadows. There. I think that's fine. Okay. I need to revisit her horns real quick. And I want to add just a little cast shadow from the burger there. So I will go get the shadow color I'm using and just plop it in. And I think that's all I got to do for that. So now there's a little cast shadow from the burger, and I think the horns otherwise still look great. So I think it is time to go out and render the twin tails. So I am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for hair here. Hair always feels like a little bit of an endurance marathon. Oops, I do not have the layer locked. There we go. Now I do. Alright, so I'm gonna zoom out a bit and just start with the basic shades again. I'm not entirely happy with what I have, so I just want to get in all those little spots here. Okay, most of it looks pretty good though. I do think I can be happy with most of it. Okay, and then I want a little bit more shadow around the horns there. In fact, I think I'm going to use the dark color. Yeah. Alright, I think that's a pretty okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just render all of this out now. One strand at a time. Here we go. It looks so good. It's just a little time consuming. So I do want to make sure that the light part and the dark part follow the shape of this strand perfectly. Being very particular about that. There we go. That looks pretty good. Then I'll just kind of blend it in and make it look hair-like. And I'm going to start with the just base color and this first shadow color. For now, I'll worry about the dark parts in a little bit. They are coming. But I think that there's a lot I can do with just these two colors right now. So I think I will. I'll start here. It's as good a spot to start as any. And a lot of this is hidden by the foreground, so I don't actually feel like I have that much to render. So that's nice too. There are a few parts here that I would like to give proper highlights. So it'll get its own highlight layer. You know, when the time comes. But it is not yet time. So I will do all that at the end. And then I'll make a couple of layers for loose strands and stuff. And hopefully she'll look nice and distressed. Exactly the way I want her to be for this picture. I do hope that the Chibidoki in real life is having a better time than the Chibidoki in my picture. Always unfortunate to have your food stolen by vermin. I don't like this, so I'm gonna get rid of that, and I will perfect this dark area a little bit later. Let's see, I think I'm gonna turn this into darker color as well. So the only kinda middle dark I'll be using here is right here, I think. Okay. And this, I just want to make the shape a little bit nicer, so that's what I'm doing there. And then maybe just a little strand coming out right there. Let's do it. I think it looks good. Maybe another little one. Just right over here. I can go pretty much wherever I want, so this works for me. Okay. So let's finish up how these little spots here will blend together. I don't mind the little middle shadow here, so I will allow it to live. Okay, that seems fine. I just want to curve this just a little more, make that curl a little bit nicer. As always, I gotta get those curls very nice. And I'm just gonna put most of this into shadow here. I admittedly can't really see what's going on, so works out. Works out indeed. And the fact that I have the foreground done tells me that I basically don't have to care about what's here that much. I'll still get everything smooth. Every place deserves a little bit of attention. But you know, for the most part, I can just leave this spot be. And it'll look fine. Kind of looks like I have a shape like this going in there, so I'll respect that. And I'll just add a few strands here and there, just to make it look nice. I do think it is still important to shade every area with a degree of accuracy and smoothness. Every place deserves its best shot at looking nice. But I do think this looks nice. I do. It's simple. It doesn't have that much going on. But it doesn't need that much going on. It's perfect just like this. This is getting pretty far away from my focal point, so I just don't feel the need to do that much with it. I'm just adding a little bit of texture to make it clear what's hair and what's not. Or I don't know. Clarity is good, more or less. So I think it's clear that all of this is hair. It may not be entirely clear exactly what it's doing, but I think anybody could look at this and say, hey, that sure is some hair. And that's pretty much my goal here. Some of this will become a dark shadow, but I want to get the areas that are not right now. Because I can. I might touch them up later, but this is all good for now. Okay, and I think that's all my... Oh, nope, I got a little bit more of the base color up here. Not sure what's going on with this hair, but this looks fine to me, so... Works for me. Okay, and a little bit up here. This, I think I'm mostly going to use some darker colors for the cast shadows. But there we go. I think that's good for those two colors. So I'll go ahead and grab my dark color now, and I can finish off the rest of this. Okay. So I do have some dark color coming through here. And this one might need a little bit of the base color to kind of help me out here. Probably not much. And then I'll just add a couple of little hair-like spots. Make that texture look a little better. And I don't think that this strand casts that much shadow on this side. So while I do want this part to be a little darker, I'm gonna keep it thin. I'm gonna keep it very thin. Have it be more like a line than a shadow. And I can see that there's a couple of spots on this side where I still need some of the light color. And that's okay. I'll switch as needed. And as it's convenient, I'll go ahead and just add, some of these darker shadows. Add in that hair-like texture that I like. Yeah, there we go. I think this is looking very nice. I do think that this part might be a little thick, so I'm gonna take it back just a little. Right here I think looks pretty good though, so I'll just smooth this a bit. I'm largely guessing on what I think I drew earlier, and that is totally okay. I don't have to completely stick to what I drew in what amounts to my sketches, so I can change my mind at any time, and frankly, for this part, I don't think it really matters what I drew earlier. We don't really see it, so it's all good. But I'll be happy because I think with this, the most time-consuming part will be done. And then we'll see if I can just finish off the rest of the character today. I don't know. I'll be cutting it pretty tight. But I'm gonna try. I will do my best. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I just gotta get the hair on this side. I think I'm just gonna put all of this in shadow. I don't think it needs any further detail. And then here, I can just go ahead and clean up what I got here. But fortunately, I do think that it mostly looks pretty good. Yeah, I like it. And here, I think I want a little bit more of a light spot just right through here. I want to make it clear that the darkness is cast from this hair and further in front. So I want a little bit of light on the top there. And here I just missed a spot straight up. I'm not respecting the shape of that strand well enough, so let's fix that. Okay. Anything else that I want to be dark over here? Yeah, I wanted a dark cast shadow from the bird here. And then maybe just a little bit of dark right through here. Okay, and I think that's it for that, so let's go ahead and add some highlights. So this will not have as many highlights as the layer in front, as you might imagine. But I do want a few just kind of on top here. I'm not going to zoom in yet. I just kind of want to plop them down and just a little bit... No, I don't think I want any over there. It's mostly like just right there, really. Yeah, I think that's literally it. Nice. Okay. And then I'm looking at her tiny little hands, and I think I want a little bit more shadow in the hair around here. So I'm gonna adjust that accordingly, but let's finish this little highlight first. And yeah, now that I look at it, this is the only spot that I wanted to have highlights. But I do want it to have highlights, so I will draw them. Okay, so let's brighten up this area just a little. Oh, I still have you set to an eraser. Okay. I'll take it out of the shadows as always. And from there, I will just smudge a little. And there we go, all done. Nice and easy. So what I was saying over here is I don't know. I think the hands are really important here. So I want to add just a little bit more contrast going all the way around. So I'm going to add a dark shadow that basically acts as a line. I don't even mind that there's a little bit of light in it. It's fine. In theory. We'll see how I feel when I zoom out. But I just wasn't happy with how visible her cute little arms are. So I just want to add something like that, and I will do the same on the other side. So this is far from a realistic shadow. It's about as unrealistic as you get. But I think it'll separate the hands a little bit better. And that is more important than realism when I am drawing an anime. Okay. Yeah, and now it is much more visible. Those hands are just far more separated, and I am pleased. They are very cute, so I approve. Is there anything else I want to change on the hair? Yeah, let's do the loose strands now. Okay. So I don't really feel the need to change the structure of the hair that much. I just want to add some strands kind of flailing about wildly here. In fact, I think I will put it underneath the hair layer. And I might need to add some more shading and stuff here. But I'm hoping that this will make her look a little bit more disheveled. And a little bit more like she's just kind of freaking out. Going, oh no. The food is getting stolen by vermin and it's very sad. So I'm gonna put in a lot more than I normally would. Just because I am going for that kind of look. And I think that this will aid in it greatly. And I'll even have some just going in random directions that don't make sense. Just because I do think it'll make her look more panicked. I still don't want it to cover up important features like her mouth and stuff though. So I will still be careful. Still gotta be careful, but here we go. I already like this a lot, and I haven't even added that many. I'll just figure out how I want to shade all this after. Once I'm happy with the level of craziness in her hair. Okay, I'm gonna do the same on the twin tails. And then I will figure out how I want them to be shaded. But I think this is making it. I like it a lot already. Just some wild hair doing hair things and making everything look so that much more panicked. I love it. I like it a lot. Best part is it doesn't even have to make complete sense, and it'll be fine. Panic never makes sense. That's why it's panic. And it makes you do things that are crazy. Okay, I'd say that looks like panic hair, so I think I'm happy. Let's go ahead and color these properly now. I'm gonna go back up to the original, and let's just kind of connect it all. And actually, before I do that, I would like to know where the shadows on her head are. So I'll go ahead and do that. Just so this way, I can shade those loose strands accordingly. So let's make all these little shadows look nice now. Let's see, how do I want this strand to look? I think just kind of like this. I think that's good. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm just trying to follow the shape of the hair pretty closely here. But a short distance away, so that this way it doesn't look like it's pressing right up next to her head. Looks like there's a little bit of space. Okay. I'm kind of glad that I did all my funny loose strands before I attempted to shade the cast shadows from the hair on her face. That's definitely making it easier, and now I can just add where I think all those loose strands are living. Just very freely. It's very nice. I'll just go ahead and get all of this nice and smooth. There we go. Definitely wonderful. I like it a lot. Okay. I think that's about where I want those shadows to be, so I think I'm happy. So I will go ahead and go back to shading the hair. Because now I have a better idea of where some of these shadows are. And I think that will make my life much easier. Oh, this is the twin tail strands. I want this one. There we go. And then I can let them get lighter, you know, once they're out of the shadows. But actually, I changed my mind. I don't like it. I think I just want to keep them all ye old basic shadow color. I think that will look better, except for maybe areas like over here. Or it probably makes a little bit more sense for them to be lit like this. And I didn't give you proper shadows. Oh no. I'm sorry, little guys. Didn't come down here like I should have. Okay, and another one right there. And right there. And right there. There. And right there. Just a little one for this one, though. Okay. Yeah. Just like that. Okay. Now back to what I was doing. Do you think I will let this one be light? And actually, I think there's a little bit of head showing through there. So that should be in shadow, just right there. Finding all these places I missed. Okay. I think all of these look fine the way they are. Alright, I think I want to take those highlights back a little bit. So I will just kind of erase right through here. Right through here. I don't really want them to be highlighted too much. But I suppose I will let a few continue to exist. Just like right here. I won't make them shiny though, so I'll just leave it like that. And I think this is okay. I don't want it to be on this one though. So I will pull this back. The shine as well. Okay, let's color the ones on the twin tails now. Let's see, this one ended up not looking super great, so I'm gonna... Actually, I'm not gonna fix it that way. What I'm gonna do to fix it, I just don't like how it's not attached, mostly. So I'm just gonna draw a little bit more and attach this. There. And I will let this be 2 strands. Okay. And now I can just color freely. I think all of the ones here are either gonna be the first shadow or the second? Ah, I see. You are actually part of the front hair. Surprised me. I gotta connect it properly. There we go. Yeah, that looks better. And I think this one looks fine like that. This one is not connected, so I better go fix him. I don't really want a bunch of just disconnected hair like this. I don't think it looks good at all. And these ones, I actually think I want to be light. So I'll do that. The one exception to me wanting the strands to be mostly the shadow colors. It's okay. Exceptions are fine. I will adjust accordingly. I think all these look good dark. And this one looks fine. I think all of these look fine. These ones I think should be a little darker, and I also see that, once again, not connected. I was super messy here. Okay. These ones will be dark. I think these ones will be dark as well. Alright. And I think that does it. So there's hair. All done. Looking very crazy. I like it. So now I can go back to figuring out her cute little eyelashes. Just doing a quick stretch there. Okay, so what I think I want to do is I want to make sure that I have a line right up next to the hair here, no matter what else I have going on. So most of her eye is going to be in shadow, it looks like. That makes sense. So that's okay. And now I just want to trace the shape of that eyelash nicely. Put a nice little shadow around this strand. There we go. But yeah, when I was looking at how some other artists handled eyelashes, I found that I really liked this effect. I thought it looked pretty dang good. So I figured I'd try it myself. And then I'll just add, because more of it's visible in the bottom here, I think it just makes sense to, I don't know, add a little bit of texture here and there. So I think I'll just leave it like that. And I'll do the same on this side. Make sure that all of these loose strands have nice shadows separating them from the eyelash. So that does leave most of this just kind of in shadow here, but that's okay. I'll add a little bit of texturing. I should put a little bit of this on the side lashes on the other side too. Yeah, just something like that. And I'm going to attempt to plop the skin tone on this and see if I like it. Just a little something to make the eyelashes maybe look a little bit more impressive. And I think I will actually make them a little bit darker here. I just want a little further contrast from the hair, and I think that looks fine. It's like on her actual model, they're like literally solid black, so should be fine. Alright. Let's get the eyebrows. I think the eyebrows are going to be like all in shadow, so I will just go ahead and make them this dark color. And just kind of shape them a little. We don't really see them very much, so... But I do think it adds a little bit to that sad little face. Look at that sad. It's so sad. Just want to give her a big hug. Okay, let's make these eyes look nice now. I think the circles look fine. I'm satisfied with where her gaze is looking at the moment. We'll see how I feel about it in like 5 minutes. After I get some shading going on her eyes. That looks like a pretty good color. So let me get another one for the pupil here. I want it to be a little bit less saturated than this, I think. I think right about there looks pretty good. So this will be my pupil color. And let me see, I'm pretty sure her actual model has like a giant freaking pupils, but I don't think I want to make mine that big. I want her to be a little freaking out, so they're going to be kind of narrow. They're not going to be like this quite, but you know, I still want to make them pretty small. I want her to be a little scared. Just raw panic going on here. Okay. And I mean, strictly speaking, I could probably do something like that if I really wanted to, but... I will let her eyes be in focus today. You know, just for today. Okay. And I will add a couple of shadows here from the hair, just because I do like doing that kind of thing. It makes me happy. And now I just gotta do the shading on the eyes here. I'm debating if I should make her cry. I might add some tears. Be the kind of art that just makes you want to go give her a big hug. Ah. Let's see, I think I have this shadow in the wrong place. I need it to follow this strand shadow right there. So I'll go ahead and take that out, and this one too for that matter. I'll do the strand shadows in just a little bit, actually. I changed my mind. I definitely don't want to rush her face, so I don't think I'm going to quite finish her today. I think I'm going to have a little bit on the dress left. Alas. But it's okay. I got most of it, and I'm pretty happy with the result. I think she looks absolutely adorable. And as always, you know, with the face, I don't want to mess around with it. I want to take my time and get it just right. Everything about faces must be good. And she must be cute. Okay. Let's go to the other one. Wrong layer. She must be cute. Very important. Okay. Let's go ahead and follow this shadow shape back up. Get all of it going in the same direction there. The others, I think I'm just going to be like that, and that is fine. Now I just got to get the striatlins in the eye white here. Okay, little one right there, and then the rest of this guy. I think it's fine if they don't line up completely perfectly, but I want to get it close. Okay. Yeah, I think that works. I want to kind of darken up the top of the eye a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. Just a little bit of a gradient. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And then I think I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to add my shine layer, set it to color dodge, and for now I'll just take the eye color. But I will probably be adjusting that a little. We'll see how I feel about it when I'm all done. So first I'll get a nice little shape. Nice little U shape here. And then I'll just cut it to pieces. And add a little bit more light at the end. Okay. And I'd like to just kind of, I don't know, blob this out a little bit more, just so they're not quite so square. I was realizing in the past when I've drawn eyes like this that I probably should do that. Because sometimes I think it looks a little bit too square otherwise. Here we go. Okay, and there's a few more things I want to do there, but I'll go ahead and do the shiny part on the other side first. Just get this nice and shiny here. And I do think that I will make her cry. It almost feels rude saying it, but it's okay. It's just art. It's appropriate. I am actually just generally of the opinion that people like it when all of their emotions are engaged. Sometimes people do just want to be sad. Otherwise, we would never watch tragedies. And sometimes people do just want to be mad. Otherwise, you know, we wouldn't have people looking for trouble on Twitter. So, you know, it's okay to make people a little bit sad sometimes. Let's just make the kind of picture that'll make people want to go give Chibidoki a hug. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I think I want to change the color just a little bit. Maybe, yeah, more in, like, this realm. This might be a little bit too pink. But I don't know, maybe somewhere over here in the pinks and oranges and yellows. I think that might look nice. I'm gonna zoom in, actually. I want to get a good look at her face while I'm changing the color here, just so I make sure I get the right one. I kind of like it a little more toward yellow than I do pink. And I think that looks pretty good. So I'll leave it like that, I think. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take an airbrush eraser. Just lessen the corners very slightly. And then I think I want to put one last light before I do the specular highlight. I'm going to take this color. Just plop a little circle right here. And I will set that to, I don't know, overlay, addition, screen. I'm not sure yet. I think overlay looked pretty good. And maybe just not quite that strong. Yeah, something like that. Do I like that? I don't know if I do. You know what? I'm going to take the eye color, just the basic eye color again. And I'm going to plop it in there. And I will try some other blend modes and see if I like that a little better. And then change the color a little bit. And once again, I think I actually want to zoom in for that. So I can see the effect of the color a little bit more easily. I think I still like it kind of in the realm of the yellows. Just a little bit less than the last one. But yeah, I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and add the specular now. This is the part that always makes it look the best. So I'll take this bright color in here, make it just a little bit brighter. And then we'll add just some big ol' circles. I'll probably add a couple more than I normally do here, just because she is very sad. And I do think that adding a few more makes her look just a little bit sad. There we go. That looks like a pretty sad little Chibidoki. Let's go smooth that out. I'm not quite satisfied with the smoothness on some of these little bubbles here. Then I think I want to add a couple more effects to make her eyes look a little bit more moist. This is after I make the specular highlight shiny, of course. Specular highlight being shiny is just kind of I got it too. Okay. So I do like adding a little effect where I take like the opposite color of the eye and flop it around the specular, which the opposite of blue is going to be kind of orange. So I'll probably get something within the orange and yellow and red. I actually think yellow looks pretty good here, so I'll go with that. I think I wanted to show just a little bit more, so I'll blur it slightly more. There we go. Yeah, and now I think I can just add a little bit more light. No, I think I want it to be under the specular. So this is just some stuff that will hopefully make her eyes look a little bit more moist. I'm just going to add a little highlight around the speculars here. It looks kind of terrible now, but it should look pretty good by the time I'm done with it. So don't worry, just stick with me. Just take my word for it. Okay, I think that's good. I want it to be a little bit less. All right, and before I go and make it look good, I want to smooth it out just a little bit. Just because it will be hard to change once I put it into its final state. So I kind of want to make sure that I am happy with everything else. I think this might go a little bit too far over, so I'm going to kind of cut it off a little bit here. Okay. And now I can make it look really nice. So I'm just gonna kind of shave off the end with a airbrush, let it gradate into nothing. And that will get me what I wanted. There we go. And I think that that is some finished eyes. I think she looks very cute. I'm satisfied. We'll see how I feel about him next time, of course, but for now, I'm pretty happy. I'm just debating if I want to make the top of the eye whites a little darker, but I think they're fine like this. Okay. So, now that I have that, I think it's time to do the rest of her face. So that'll be the mouth and the little dot nose I got going on here, huh? You weren't excess from the face. Are you just a hole, then? I thought this black spot right there was... Oh yeah, you're just a random hole. Okay, my bad. I thought it was a little bit of excess from the face, which is why I never bothered to fix it. Okay. So these won't be black when I'm done, but I just want to kind of get them in with black. Because that'll make it easy to see. And then I can smooth it out real fast. And get the colors right. Oh yeah, and I was also thinking about adding little tears to her eyes. I think I still want to do that, and I should do that. I'll go ahead and finish the rest of the face here. Just kind of perfect the shape of the mouth here. I don't mind it being a little lopsided. I think it looks cute like that. So I will leave it with just how I drew it here. I think I want this side to be a little bit rounder around the side there. So how's that? Oh yeah, that's good. I like it a lot. Okay. So I think I'm just going to leave the nose just ye old basic shadow color. I don't think I really have to do anything more with that. And the mouth. I'm going to control you that. That will affect the nose there, but you know it's fine. Maybe a little bit more red. Yeah. Okay, that looks good to me. I'll just color that again. There we go. And then I will put in a little tongue. I don't know what color I want the tongue to be, so I'm going to do it on a new layer. This way I can make it any color and then adjust it. So I'll just use the ribbon color for now. It actually doesn't look too bad, so that's nice. And then do I want teeth? Do I want teeth? I don't know. Let me try something with this first. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Just add a little bit more depth to the mouth, maybe. And I can even potentially use the little shadow color on the ribbon on the tongue, but I don't think I like it, so I will leave the tongue a solid color. Maybe just add a little highlight on it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think just like that is fine. Okay, and now I'll put some little tears in her eyes. I think I'll take my time doing that, and then I'll see how much of the dress I can do. Like, there's not much to do here, let's be real, so maybe I can't do it in 10 minutes. It's like if I could draw Crony's hand in 10 minutes, maybe I can do that. I do have some smoothing I gotta do down there, though, so who knows. I'll do my best. Let's add some tears. Let's see, I need this to be above the eyelashes. So I think I'm going to start with just a solid white on this part. Let me see. I want to remember how they look. Okay. So probably a big one up in the corner here. With a little bit of glow and stuff here, and then kind of another... I think another decent-sized one here will look good. Kinda... I want to go more for the welling up in the eyes than I do the actual, like, falling down the cheeks or anything. Okay. And I think these eyes are pretty symmetrical, so I think I'm just going to draw this on one side and call it good. Alright, let's kind of hollow out the middle here. Yeah, that should look good. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm happy with the shape. So I inverted the color for myself so I could see a little bit better. Gonna make this just a little bit less pure circle here. There we go. Okay, so let's hollow it out a little. Little bit of a fogginess there, and once again, just kind of reminding myself how all this works. Okay, so it's gonna reflect like a little bit of skin tone and stuff. And then there'll be some like brighter highlights. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the skin tone here, and I guess I shouldn't lock it. I'll just flop a little here. And then I think it'll also reflect a little bit of her eye color. So I'll plop a little bit of that up top. Okay, and then I think it's a little soft actually, so I'm going to shore up the edges a little. I'm going to take this color for that. I don't mind a little softness in this, but I do think it is a little bit too soft right now. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to a little bit of pure white for certain parts here. Let me see. I am occasionally just looking at a few references. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add some shadow, so I'll use my white shadow color here. Just a little at the bottom here. And I'll hollow out a few areas. I think I only wanted it like 30% opacity though. Okay, looking better. Okay. I want my eraser back up here before I forget that I changed it. That sounds like a great way to have a bad time. And now I'll just, I don't know, do some stuff that looks vaguely water-like to me. Make sure it has sufficient highlights and, I don't know, just some stuff going around. Okay, and I think that should be fine. So let's see what it looks like on the other side. Okay. She looks so sad. She looks so sad. I'm gonna add a few little shadows kind of underneath them. Just to give them a little bit more presence there. And there we go. I think that looks pretty okay. I'm gonna roll with it. We'll see how I feel about it next time. But, alright. Let's see just how much of her dress I can get through before it's time to go. So I'm gonna start with this little leaf thing here. I better hide the foreground to make sure I get the right colors. Okay. But I will leave it on to render it. So this honestly looks really straightforward. So I'm just gonna do something like that. What does it look like again? I don't know, to me it looks like it kind of tucks into her dress, and it's also really, really wide at the top. And how do they join together? They do not quite touch. Okay. So I don't want them to touch here, but they might touch a little, like, over here. Just due to the angle. We're seeing her slightly from below, so... Although they do not normally touch, they might touch a little here. Okay, I don't quite like the shape of that, so I'm gonna kinda roll it just a little. There we go. And it'll tuck into her dress right about there, which is why I think that they touch very slightly. Okay. So just kind of like that. And then the little bit will kind of just rise out from inside. There. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of clean up the edge a little bit here, but I think that's looking pretty okay. Just a little shadow right there. And now I can kind of perfect the shape that I'm going for here, and I do think that most of this area should be in shadow. I want to make it look like it is kind of being tucked into her dress. And then a little light spot here where it's kind of folded out. There we go. You can see I'm not completely completing the line. I'm leaving most of it implied. I just want to make it clear that it is coming out of her dress. And I think this is too thick, so I'm going to be thinning it out a lot. And then I'll do the same on this side. Just like that. Okay, and then we just got this little fold here. I think I wanted to do something like this. Really kind of have it come out there, and I will even kind of dent this part a little bit. Make it more convincing as a fold, and then just a little bit of cast shadow from this ribbon. Okay, then on the other side, just do it one more time. Make a little dent. Cast shadow from the ribbon. I want to make the cast shadow from the ribbon a little pointier, so I will do that too. And there we go. Okay. Few more minutes. Let's do the shirt. Most of the shirt is in shadow, so that makes it easy. But I gotta care about the parts that aren't. So I'm gonna worry about the cast shadow from this ribbon. And the area that I think will cast shadow from the leaf here. Right here needs to be smoothed a little, and I see a little bit of her body peeking out. So I'm gonna take that away immediately. Ooh, I actually see a little on this side too. Yeah, I can't have that. Body belongs inside the clothes. Okay, I see a little hole right there. Actually, I guess that's a little extra from the dress. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I think that's about all I want there. I will add just a few little folds because I like to. So I just feel like the shirt is being tucked in a little, so I will just add a couple of tiny... I don't even think I want them to be that sharp. I think I just want slight, subtle hints. There's a shirt being tucked in there. And the rest I think is in shadow, so I think that's it. Let's go ahead and get her... Actually, no, there's one more thing I want to do here. I want to add just a little bit of shadow to the rim here to make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Just a little. Okay. Body. We got a little bit of cast shadow from this, but it is very close. I figure that it is pretty much right next to her. So I'm going to make the shadow very thin. Very, very thin. Okay, and that should be good. I guess she does have a little belly button in there, so I'll go ahead and draw that too. Just, let's see, where do I think it is? Probably a little lower down, so probably like right here. And I think that's fine. I don't think it needs to be any more detailed than that. I will add a small gradient here, though. Okay. And I realized in the middle of drawing that I did not blush her cheeks. So I should do that before I do anything else. Okay, I gotta stop shortly, but you know what? I am so stinking close. I just have this dress left. I think I'm gonna do the blush and that real quick. So I think I have enough time to finish her off. I will make her cheeks a little bit redder than usual. I think it's appropriate here. She's all worked up and sad. And then I will just add a little tiny light to the top of her cheek here. Okay, and some extra blush lines. I only do this sometimes, but I think it's appropriate here, where I just add, you know, some little diagonal lines across the cheeks here. I don't like those. Let me try again. But you know, it just like this. Basically all parallel and just run it across the cheek like that. I do think that this color is a little strong, so I will reduce the opacity, but, you know, just something like that. There we go. Now she's like extra blushy. Okay. I don't like the shape of the light. I'm gonna smooth it out. All right, let's go get that dress. But I think she's looking super cute. Look at that. Look at that sad face. Everything is always so much better when I do the face. That's why I like to do the face early. It just makes me so happy. Okay. So this dress is really, really straightforward, which is why I think I can just take like an extra 5 minutes here and just finish it off. I just want to hide the foreground to make sure I get the colors. But I don't even think there's anything to smooth. So I'll just go ahead and get the interior here. Put a little bit of shadow under this leaf thing. And then trust what I drew earlier and just smooth out these little lines. I'll just leave all of that in shadow. I think that's fine. I think I can leave all this in shadow too, actually. Okay, and then I have that trim that I have on a separate layer. And I think I can just put all of that in shadow, actually. There. And that is a finished Chibidoki, I think. I still have to do the lighting, but I think I would like to do the lighting along with the background. So I think I will do the background first, and then I will do the lighting on her. But I think she is looking absolutely adorable, and we'll see how I feel about everything next time. Especially the parts at the end where I kind of rushed it. But for now, I am happy. I really like it. But I think that this is where I will stop for today. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.